So this is my garden, and then this front part is going to be future garden space. Right now, this is where the chickens are. So this is the main gate. And I have flowers on both sides. And I'll give you a quick tour. So right now, the snow peas are doing really well. So these are yellow, like a yellow variety. And this is some manure that I have to spread around. Then over here, this is sort of my sad side of the garden. It's been so cold, so my pumpkins and squash are really tiny still. And then I have some like zinnias and sunflower. And then also over here is my sad little corn plants. They're tiny. And these are my raspberries. They're doing really well, so they're just starting to turn. So I've got raspberries all here. And then I have a grape. There's a grape plant back here. And then through this hole, this is my egg-laying chickens. You can see they get all the weeds that I pull. And this is actually a garden space. So this year there's chickens on it. But next year I think I'm going to grow my pumpkins in this space. And they're fertilizing it for me. Alright, so this is the rest of the garden. I have a carrot bed. I'm going to plant my carrots in the next couple of days. And I have to pull out this lettuce and eat a whole lot of salads. So lettuce is looking good, but we're going to have some really hot weather. So it's going to be done anyway. Usually when lettuce has the heat and after the solstice, it starts to go to seed and it's not as good anymore. We got some potatoes, which we planted later. These are potatoes. There's just like a random poppy plant, so he got to stay. And then some chamomile just came back. And then I have some little zucchinis. They're just starting to grow, and some gourds. That's a gourd. And then I have some more squashes over here. These are actually doing really well. So I have some phylums in my garden, which are like little, they're not insects. They're more like a centipede. They eat the roots of my plants. And they're really bad in that section. And they're less bad in this section. So that's why these are doing better. I got my lemon balm. I got some younger kohlrabis here. I planted those later. I've got some little beets. And this is all asparagus. It's going to seed. The bumblebees love it. Let me see if I can find it. It's just a buzzing. And then these are some more peas. And then down here I have beans. I think they're called mother stallards. We use them as dried beans. They're starting to take off. See, they're climbing. And let's see, this side of the trellis I have peas. These are like sugar snap peas. So we'll harvest peas from inside of the pods. But you can just eat them like that. They're really good. Got some onions. I think most of my onions are the sweet Walla Walla onions. So this is my hoop house. And I have a volunteer mystery squash. My tomatoes in here, these two are doing really well. They make like a purpley black tomato. And then on this side, I have all of my Roma tomatoes. And then I have some bolting lettuce. And these are doing okay. Then I have basil. So I have a whole bunch of different types of basil. I have 4 or 5 different varieties of holy basil. So that's holy basil, holy basil. This one with the wide leaf is also holy basil. This is just like the regular Italian basil. And then purple Italian basil. And lime, I think that's lime basil. And this is more holy basil. And I just planted that. That's more holy basil. And down here I have cantaloupes. And then watermelon. And then this side of the trellis is different varieties of cucumber. And they are actually starting to make little tiny cucumbers. So I've come in here and I pollinate, because I don't have a lot of bees in the greenhouse, so I actually have to hand pollinate. Because there's male and there's female flowers. And this side is my peppers, and they just are not happy. They've not been happy. We've had overnight temperatures in the low 30s. They're going to do okay now because we're going to actually get some summer weather. And they're kind of like making peppers. They probably think they're going to die, and that's why they're making peppers. But some of them look awful. Like, look at this one. It's terrible looking. He looks really sad too. And they're well watered. It's just they got really stressed from the cold, I think. There's different types. I have poblanos. These are supposed to be like a bell pepper that turns yellow, I think. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they'll recover and do well. We got some more winter squash planted here because I'm feeling like if I don't get my winter squash growing, we're not going to have any. And then these are type of like sandwich tomato. For some reason, these 2 plants look awful, but I think they're going to see this new growth looks good. And the old growth just looks terrible. So I might end up just pruning off these yellow leaves. And then the new growth looks good. So I'm not too worried about it. I think it's just been hard on plants, on hot weather plants this year. Like my basil just started to take off. That has been looking really bad for a while. And then I planted this all with delicata and sweet dumpling squash. But I have some phylums really bad here too, and I think all the seeds, as soon as they germinated, they just ate the plants. So I have one that looks okay and 2 that are struggling, and then I planted beets here yesterday. So I gave up on those. And over here, on the other side of my snow piece, I have runner beans. And these are the ones that make the pretty red flowers. They're just starting to bud out, that the hummingbirds love. And then I have, those are like acrylic kale. I planted some more beets there last night. I've got a whole bunch of lettuce. I have arugula that's going to seed. And I don't see a lot of bees on it, but it's pretty popular with the honeybees. Got tomatillos. They're looking better. They had a little transplant shock, but these are actually looking pretty good. And I have some tomatoes. This is a variety that makes little, oh, you're there. Makes little, these are all cherry tomatoes because I can't get regular tomatoes to ripen outside. So I plant regular tomatoes in the hoop house and cherry tomatoes outside. And this is a variety where you get a whole bunch of little tiny tomatoes. And they grow in they all grow on like a branch. They're really cool looking. And then I have dill. So I collect the dill heads for pickles and the leaves for dill weed. And then on this side is my daughter's flower garden, which is actually the prettiest garden in the whole garden. So these are mostly flowers that she can cut and dry for her crafts. They haven't started to bloom yet, but you can see the beginnings. I think this is called statis or status. I don't know how to say it. This is like one of those papery flower buds. We got some baby carrots. Those taste good. Last night I planted rutabaga. We got some onions in the front. And this is all my baby kale. So, to make like baby kale salad. And I had tons of seeds because I let a kale go to seed. And I collected the seeds. So I had like a brown paper bag full of seeds. So I just sprinkled them out here. Actually, my daughter did. And they did really well. Here's some lettuce. This lettuce planted itself. Ooh, look. It's a flax. It's the first flower. So pretty. So this is flax. And sometimes I just put flowers at the ends because it makes me happy. And these are all beets. I had to replant a lot of my beets. But these are the ones that survived the first planting, and they have actual beet heads. And these are ones that I planted recently. I got just random flowers that come up by themselves. And then some Swiss chard. Planted beets here last night, but we have 2 sad cabbages and then some nicer looking purple cabbages. And these are kohlrabi. Already started eating them. And they're doing pretty good. And then some celery in between. The celery is a little stringy, so I might cut that out of there and feed it to the chickens. But we're gonna have to start eating these a lot faster. Because with the hot weather, sometimes they get kind of stringy. I got some kales. Got some Mexican sunflowers. And this is feverfew. This is mountain mint. First year I grew it from seed, so I don't know if it's good or not. And this is, oh my gosh, I forgot what it's called. There's a honeybee though. Well, I'm glad they like it because I don't. It's really gross, but it's good for coughs. They put it in cough drops. I'll remember it later and tell you. Then I have gooseberry. This is chamomile, which I need to do something about because the ants are farming aphids. I don't know if you can see that. It's like really annoying, so I have to come in here and squirt those off. But this is the chamomile I planted. The other chamomile just came up on its own, and it actually looks better. And this is currant. And I like to mix this with apple to make like an apple currant, like a fruit roll-up. It's just like apples and currants cooked and then dehydrated. Let me show you this last part. So this is more asparagus. This is a purple variety. And so you can see, look at the pollen bags. Asparagus has really bright orange pollen. So eventually this is probably going to be a garden space too. But it's not right now. We don't have it fenced in. We have potatoes out here. And so far the deer have not eaten them. But last year they did. It's basically growing in a compost pile. That's why they're doing so well. And then this is actually a chicken pen that we had the chickens in, and then we moved the chickens to the other side of the garden. And then we planted, all this is garlic. And then in between the garlics, I planted beans. I'll show you in there. So I had to replant a lot of my beans because I had slugs like mow over the shoot apical meristem. See, look at these poor plants. But I just replanted all the seeds about 3 days ago. Oh my gosh, there's my shovel. I should spray paint it orange. Yay! So a whole bunch of new beans are going to come up. It is not too late to plant beans. And then these were all of my extra onions. I'll put them in here. They're not making bulbs yet. I actually started these from seed. I'm still trying to figure out the timing. So when I figure it out, I'll make a video about it, but I'm definitely not good at it yet. And so I have different types of beans. I have like a snap bean that I'm going to can. I have beans that are for drying. And I have some beans back there too. And the garlic is not ready to harvest yet. It did make scapes, which we are cutting and eating. So here's a scape. And you know what? I think this is all supposed to be soft neck garlic, and I don't know why it's making scapes. But I'll have to figure that out. Apparently, soft neck garlic can make scapes if it's stressed. So maybe my garlic is stressed. It did last year too. And when it makes a scape, it's impossible to braid it, which is the only reason I grow it, so I can make pretty garlic braids. Anyway, so here is my garden. So I just want to show you on this side of the garden, I have my raspberries, and then I have blackberries, and I have them arching up this trellis. And you can see some of the future berries. We go in the trellis. I'm hoping, well, this is like the first year it's actually, oh my gosh, look at that one. It might be ready. It came off easy. It's probably ready. That one's really cool looking. Here, let me try it. Oh, it's really good too. But I have several different types of blackberries in here. Some are thornless, and then some are crazy thorny. I think the thorny ones taste better. That one's really thorny. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, it came right off. I'll share this one with somebody else. And then through here, I can access my chickens. And when this is growing as a garden, which it will next year, this is how I enter this garden here, through this gate. And then we can actually move that chicken coop and move it wherever we want to. And I might, because my symphylan issue is so bad, right, I don't know if you can see it. Right over there is my really struggling pumpkin garden. I might actually move these girls into there and hope that they'll eat some of those symphylans for me and like really knock that population back. But these are golden raspberries, and they always ripen first. They're beautiful. I like the red ones better, but most of my family members like these. So I'll share these too. And then the chickens, they can jump up and eat the other side of the raspberries. Stretched out.